You make your hires and you have your workspace and you're ready to move into the next stage of your company. It is very important to establish your corporate culture right from the start. Many startups get hung up on trying to be all things to all people, which is impossible. And it is even more difficult when you're so small. So deciding what some very basic things as dress code or workspace, work style, cleanliness, all of those things that are seemingly not very important are very difficult to change. So I think setting the standard with your own behavior is something that you will not regret. And as you hire more people, the culture, as any culture, takes its own form based on the people that you're surrounded with on a day-to-day basis. Many times, people become very hyper-focused on being all things to all people. And culture is a hot topic right now. Everybody wants to be the most inclusive, the most diverse, the most well-paid, the most fun, the most healthy, the most everything. And it's impossible to do that from the starting point you currently find yourselves. So my recommendation is to foster a culture of civility and to keep yourself accountable to all of those various topics, and maybe just have your own, depending on your personality, your own checklist, mental checklist, when it gets to the point of reviewing who you've hired or why you like somebody or how much you're paying one person versus another person, really checking your intentions and outcomes. And I think that the culture will form itself. And if you have that in mind as you're setting up your company, it will naturally become all things to all people. With one client that is about 5 people, we've discussed how now to roll out the cultural expectations of the organization. There have been some current events that have sparked a conversation that perhaps isn't the best for the workplace. And so by creating some guidelines to expectations, the core value statements and ideas will grow from that without over-defining it from the start. As your culture starts to take its own shape, as groupings of people naturally do, you perhaps, without over defining what it is that you want, could come up with a set of cultural attributes that are important to you and important to the people that you've already hired. Without over defining what it is that you want, you can just set the expectations for new people coming in and be able to map how your culture is evolving. When you start to expand your team and decide who it is that you're going to hire, you will naturally be drawn to people that you know or referrals from within your network, which all are great at all times. The biggest thing that I would suggest is to be inclusive in your interview process and to not make decisions all on your own. And somebody else's perspective on a potential candidate will be different from yours. And so you can do so many different things, LinkedIn, Indeed, just so many different sites that I don't need to list for you, but that will bring you a broad set of candidates that you can then discuss, and your culture sort of flushes out of that. And you're not just making technical decisions or dollar decisions, but good rounded experience of people.